Alright guys, totally detailing here. Gonna shoot a headlight restoration tutorial. So we're gonna show the steps how to go about it. First you gotta identify. Patrick walks to the camera.
Hey man, that's what I'm doing.
Alright. First things first, we're gonna verify that the oxidation, that the contaminants, the buildup on the headlight is from the outside, which is simply doing a little scrape, a rub, and see it if it's coming off. So I've done that here. It is visible. It looks like from the outside. Same as in this one. They're really bad, so pretty much it's oxidizing. Doesn't have really much any of yellow. So there's a lot of different things that happen to headlights. There's a way where it looks like it's starting to crack completely through the whole entire lens. There's looking like peeling, which has clear coat, and there's dullness, which is starting to fade away. A lot of things. So first things first, we're going to tape it off, and I'm going to start with the first step, which is we're going to do color sanding. You want to always start a deep grit, not too deep. We'll usually start something around like 1,000, and then I'll work from 1,000, either go more aggressive or less aggressive, just depending on how well it's going to take it. Take the oxidation or whatever we have on the lens setting. So here we have the supplies, tools that we need for the headlight restoration. We got sandpaper. We're actually going to be using 1200 and 1200 to 2000 for now, and we'll work from there. I'll see if I need more aggressive or less aggressive, higher grit, lower grit. Well, water with rubbing alcohol, that's pretty much to clean up the headlight first, and then we're going to use it as a lubricant for color sanding. We got some tape to tape off the edges around the bumper, around the fender, so when we're scuffing it or we're buffing it, we don't, cause any extra mess on there. We got the DA polisher, we got the cutting pad, we got the finishing pad, we got the ultra cut compound, and then we got the synthetic sealant 2.0 Meguiars. We got some towels. So we're going to go ahead and get started with taping off the headlights, and we're going to go color sanding from there. Alright, so I have cleaned the headlights around it, so I can go ahead and start taping off the edges around the headlights. So when I color sand, I wouldn't damage the clear coat around the headlight. Alright guys, so another tip, when you color sand, I just wiped it down just to show you. You see how nice and dull from here to here? Okay, because I just kind of did it up to here, up to this line. So you always want to check, there's a little spot right here where it's glossy. You want to make sure you check, you don't see any ending lines with half dull, half glossy. When you want to sand it down, color sand it down, you want to go the rest of the way. So once you started sanding it, you can wipe away and you can keep checking back and forth and see, make sure that the whole headlight is dull from sanding it. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue. Couple areas where they look a little bit more glossier, like for instance right here looks a little more glossier, down here looks a little more glossier. So over here, all this I want to go make a little bit more duller. We're getting where we want it, but I just don't like it yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and send a little more still with the 1200 grit. And as far as sending it down with the 2000 grit, I won't need to do that much. So, well, actually, sorry, let me correct it. I've been going with a 2000 grit. I don't think I need to go with a 1200 grit, just because how everything's coming out. So this is where you're gonna save me by not doing a finer grit paper, sandpaper. I don't have to use a finer sand grit paper now, just because the 2000 grit is doing a wonderful job. Everything else is coming out nice and dull. Just this area is where I want to re-hit it. I'm just gonna work on it a little more, and that's it. We're inspected, looks really nice and dull everywhere, and that's pretty much how I want it. And I'm gonna go ahead and take it to the next headlight, do the same thing, and then I'm gonna start with the first stage, which would be the compound. I've enjoyed using the Ultra Cut compound from Meguiar's, which works really well, and you might as well see it here. Ultra Cut compound I buy pretty much in gallons, just because how much I use them. And then the second step would be a professional synthetic sealant 2.0. Also from Meguiar's. Once you do the compound, you want to go ahead and apply some sealant. I want to say this is going to buy you a lot of time, anywhere from 2 to 3 years. Maybe more, just depending on how good your lenses are on the headlights. Alright, looks nice and dull. After the color sanding, we're going to continue doing the compound now. Alright guys, as you can see, it's coming out really nice. Besides the deeper chips, scuffs that it has on the outside, which we weren't going for that. We're just doing a headlight restoration as far as all the dullness. But if you have deeper scuffs or scratches, most likely you would want to do 800 to 1000 grit, work that in particular scratch or chip, whatever you want to get out. But you do gotta realize that you can't take out too deep of a scratch or scuff or whatever, just because you're having the chances of going through the lens, and you don't want to do that. Another tip, when you do compound, you want to make sure you buff it completely until you have no more residue left. Compound. If you're leaving behind some polish on the lens, then you didn't completely finish the polishing process. Of course, don't go too dry. You gotta make sure that the pad at least is still moist. Alright guys, after I've completely finished polishing it, so there's no compound left behind before you have to wipe it. Now I'm going to go ahead and seal it. Another tip, when you do the sealant, you want to have a slower speed than the polishing speed. Polishing speed I kept around speed 4, which I'm using a quarter cable DA polisher, and that's the speed I use it. For instance, on this polisher. On different polishers you might want to try different speeds, but for instance on the compounds you don't want to do too fast where you're going to just burn the compound really quickly without making it do the work of polishing the headlight. So you also want to have not too slow, not too fast, if that makes sense for you guys. And then on the sealant you want to go extra slow so it actually applies it, let it sit there for about 2-3 minutes, and then wipe away. So I'm gonna let it sit on here for a little bit, and I'm gonna go onto the other headlight and I'm gonna do the compound and then apply the sealant, and then I'm gonna come back here after I've done the compound there, which is gonna give some time to dry here, and then I'm gonna wipe away. And we're gonna continue applying sealant on this one. And there we have it. We finished our headlight restoration. We applied the sealant on both headlamps. I'm gonna go to the other headlight and we're gonna start wiping away. Alright, now this side sat up for a little bit. Now we're gonna wipe away. Alright guys, and for right now we're gonna do a quick water repellent test with pouring some water down. Let's do it. Alright, do a little more. Alright, now let's see what happens if you do it on a fender. We didn't do the
I haven't waxed it in a while. I don't know if you can tell, but it's all greasy.
Yeah, you can tell. You can see it. The water's there. The water's there. The water is there. So, as far as the headlight goes, look, this is only the drips that are left behind.
Yep.
Yes, there was a water bottle. What are you doing? Alright guys, this is it. We just shot a tutorial video on headlight restoration. Keep liking and subscribing for more videos, tutorials, reviews, and Patrick is actually excited right now because we actually performed it on his car. Hey guys, that was it on the tutorial video. We pretty much That's gonna be like take 102.
There you go.
Cut!
For our upcoming videos, tutorials, reviews, keep liking and subscribing. You're here, Totally Detailing, and we're out.